Hey everyone, this is Rob at SportRx, and today we're going to talk about the Oakley Flight Deck goggle. More specifically, how awesome this flight deck is, and there's a lot of awesomeness to talk about, so I'm going to talk fast, Micro Machine style. So we got the Oakley Flight Deck goggle here. The real story with these goggles is the rimless design, meaning the whole shield is on the outside of the goggle, no frame around it anymore, and the main difference besides looking really cool is that the rimless design is going to give you amazing peripheral vision. Basically 180 degrees of peripheral view, no obstruction. I don't think I've ever had a goggle with this much peripheral enhancement. It's pretty amazing. And what also helps with that is the design of the goggle, not just the rimless design, but this goggle, height-wise this way, is not that big. If you get a bigger goggle going this way, it just means more foam and more goggle in the way, and you start to block your peripheral, even if you have a rimless goggle. So I really like how Oakley kept it kind of nice and neat and close to your face. It's going to have amazing optics. There's a lot of other features that go into why these goggles have amazing optics. One of them is the spherical lens. So spherical lenses mean that the lenses curve not only left to right, but also up and down, kind of like on a basketball. And what that helps with is the optics, but also it gives you a little bit more volume inside the goggle, which helps with the anti-fog of the goggle. Speaking of which, this goggle is super hard to fog up. It's got a dual lens, which is basically like a dual pane window. It keeps the cold air on the outside and the warm air on the inside, and there's a little space in between, just like a dual pane window that you would have in your house. And it does help a lot with efficiency and keeping the fog away. Also, these things have a new Oakley anti-fog coating called 3F, and that thing is amazing. We've had no issues with these goggles fogging up. It's pretty cool. And then the lens technology on here is called HDO. That's high definition optics. That's Oakley's terminology for basically figuring out how to get rid of distortion on a wraparound lens. So you're gonna have amazing clarity even in the edges. What's the use of all that great peripheral if the peripheral's distorted? So on these goggles, they are not. And then these are made out of plutonite, which is Oakley's material, super impact resistant, 100% UV A, B, and C. Super protection. You can't really get much more out of a lens. The frame itself is very, very well vented, a lot of venting everywhere, super lightweight, super clean design. Really don't see much of the frame at all. You're gonna have a little bit of a tiny outrigger idea here on the sides, not a full outrigger, but these things are super helmet compatible. They were designed to be compatible with pretty much any helmet in the industry. So these will fit your helmet almost 100% of the time. So don't worry about helmet compatibility. Speaking of helmets, this strap is super wide and comfortable. The wide strap kind of disperses some of the pressure, so it's going to make them comfortable for all day use if you're out there bombing the slopes all day. But also it's got this silicone beaded lining on the inside, so they sit on your helmet without moving around really well. So again, pretty much everything thought about. And then of course, with a high-end goggle, you should get triple foam. And of course, Oakley has some of the best foam out there. The last layer of this foam is super soft. It's a micro fleece and it's sweat wicking. So you're gonna keep you cool and dry on the mountain out there. So things are pretty sweet. One thing to note about the lenses, another option you could get if you wanted to, and I would highly recommend, is Oakley's Prizm lens technology. You can get, the thing about Prizm in my opinion is the difference between volume on a stereo and an equalizer on a stereo. Old school lenses, going lighter or darker is kind of like turning up and down the music. But with Prizm, it's more like a really high-end, high-tech equalizer. Basically with Prizm lenses, Oakley has adjusted every different color of the light spectrum in consideration of what sport you're doing and what the conditions are. So it's going to let in the right colors, the right amount of the right lights to give you most amount of protection with amazing contrast and clarity. It is a huge step up. I would definitely recommend it. If you need some flight decks in prescription, SportRx is the place to go. We make these amazing optical inserts, way more comfortable than glasses inside of goggles, way safer and much harder to fog. We put a great anti-fog coating, very similar to Oakley's F3 coating on the inside, on the goggle insert as well, the front and back, and then the insert sits right in here. And if you get a mirrored lens like this, you're not even gonna see that these have a prescription in here. So yes, you can get flight decks in prescription from SportRx. That was a lot to say. I hope I talked as fast as the Micro Machine guy and that you understood everything. If you have any more questions, please email us info@sportrx.com, or feel free to put it down in the comments section if you're watching this video on YouTube. If you are on the YouTubes, please give us a thumbs up and feel free to subscribe to SportRx. We do a lot of cool videos about a lot of cool goggles and glasses, and we will see you out there on the mountain shredding the nar. Later!